Hello, this is Peter Murphy, President and CEO of the Illinois Association of Park Districts. Today, we are presenting another video as part of our Legends video series. One of the missions of IAPD is to recognize outstanding park, forest preserve, and conservation district board members throughout the state of Illinois. I hope the knowledge and insights these great leaders provide will inspire you to continue to make a positive impact at your agency and in your community. Please enjoy.
Hello, I'm Wayne Utterback, Director of Communications and Digital Content for the Illinois Association of Park Districts, and I'm pleased today to speak with Urbana Park District Commissioner Michael Walker for the latest installment of the IAPD's Legends video series. Michael, thank you so much for sitting down to talk to us.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation, Wayne.
To start off, can you give me a little bit of background about how long you've been with the Urbana Park District?
Well, I'm now in my 37th year on the Board of Commissioners, and I was actually served on the Citizens Advisory Committee for 4 years prior to that. So I'm over 40 years, I guess, involvement in the governance of the district in one way or another.
With all those years of experience, what would you say your overall experience has been with the Urbana Park District?
Well, it's been a really gratifying experience. I mean, I think service on a park board, if someone takes the right attitude to it, is deeply satisfying. You're meeting needs of the community. At the same time, people are rarely up in arms about their parks as long as they feel that they're being paid attention to and that their needs are being looked after and cared for.
What was a motivating factor for you to become a commissioner?
Well, as I said, I've been on the Citizens Advisory Committee for 4 years, and in that position I had gotten to see the Board of Commissioners in action, and I'd also gotten to see the way the staff and the culture of the staff in this district was working. And I decided I really wanted to be a part of this organization and help the community of Urbana by serving to keep that moving ahead and doing even better things.
If someone asked you about the Urbana Park District and said, what makes the Urbana Park District stand out? What makes it special? What would you tell them?
Well, I think most famously is our natural areas and open space. I mean, we work very hard to have natural areas and environmental programs available right in the community. So you don't have to get in a car and drive 25 minutes to go someplace to see some very interesting natural areas or to have a tour of a natural area. We've got all that stuff right here in the community. And I think additionally, we've always done our planning in a community-involved way. We go out and actively seek the input from the community as a whole. So we make sure we're doing things the way our community would like to see them happen.
What keeps you motivated and engaged in the Park District today?
Well, I'm an active user of the parks. I enjoy them very much. I'm in the parks several times a week when I'm in town. And really, I believe it's so essential to the health and well-being of a community to have a good park system.
Having served as a commissioner, you have some knowledge about the position. What do you feel is a good philosophy to adopt in order to be successful?
Well, to be successful as a commissioner, you have to understand that it's not about you. You don't have any power acting on your own. It's the team of the board and the board working with the staff that really controls the way things go. And so your power is one, A, of listening to what others have to say, and B, your powers of persuasion to try to steer things a little bit if you think they're maybe not going quite the way you think they ought to be. But it's not that you can dictate A or B as a decision. You gotta do teamwork, and that's so important to remember that you're part of a team, not an individual.
What kind of insights and advice can you give a new commissioner? I know being a new commissioner, there are a lot of challenges, lots of things to learn. What would you tell a commissioner?
Well, again, just expanding a little bit on that, to remember that you're working on a team, and not to be overly bashful about expressing your opinion in a considerate way. And I always encourage new commissioners to try to learn the finances, because Park District finances can be a little intimidating. And okay, it's not for everybody to learn that, but if you can, you'll be a much more valuable board member if you can learn somewhat the ins and outs. And sure, it takes a little while to get those figured out, but if you can figure out the finances and figure out a little bit about how to work with your fellow commissioners, it'll go a long way towards having a successful service.
When thinking about how park districts serve communities, do you believe that park districts provide those services better than a city government could?
Well, I wouldn't state it that starkly. I mean, there are some wonderful city parks and recreation departments in this country, and probably even the state of Illinois. What I do believe, though, is that having a park district gives a focus. And so when the fiscal times are tough, you still got some money dedicated to parks and recreation. And so it never dwindles down to nothing. And it's very easy to have that happen. You hit a financial crisis in the city, and all of a sudden Parks and Rec maybe gets whittled down. And so I do believe it offers some stability, which is important, and the dedicated focus. And so those two things are quite valuable and sort of set a floor underneath you. You're not going to fall below. But still important, you got to do the job well. And that's not guaranteed just because you're a park district.
With 3 decades as a commissioner, I'm sure you've met many top-tier professionals. What are attributes that you see in those who are at the very top of their field in parks and recreation?
Well, I think that the ones that are at the top of their field, it's like just about anything. It's understanding if you're going to lead an organization well, you can't be afraid of the success of the people who are working underneath you. In fact, you got to realize that you're dependent on the success of the people working underneath you. And I've seen lots of wonderful professionals come through here, some who have stayed on at the level of the executive director, and some who have learned here in this culture of, hey, let's get things done. We will empower somebody all the way down to the level of the grounds crew to make decisions that are appropriate for their job and what they're doing, and empower them to be successful at the level they are, and encourage them, if they want to do it, to keep moving on up. And good leaders always do that, and they also have the ability to listen and then realize that they're not going to have all the best ideas, but they're going to, a true professional can see a good idea and run with it.
Now, I'm sure you've seen many challenges in your time here at the Urbana Park District. What are some major challenges confronting today's park system, and how can those be resolved?
Well, finances, of course, are always a limiting factor. And sometimes they're tight enough that they're really a problem, and other times maybe not so bad. We certainly have a lot of uncertainty about employee health care. That has certainly roiled our circumstances here in Urbana quite a lot. Recently, it's not predictable exactly where it's going to go. That's been a big challenge, and so we've had to kind of set aside some reserves as we look forward to have some room to cover issues of that sort. And there are many other things that have come up. I mean, when I was first started, the school parks cooperation, in fact, co-siting a school with a park was a big thing. And with the more recent safety concerns about schools, I mean, for reasons that got nothing to do with the school district itself, they have had to become a lot more cautious about allowing open public access to their facilities. And so it makes it a little harder to find the right way to share park and school facilities. And that's a big challenge that I think, we still need to work on overcoming as well.
What would you say are some opportunities? What are opportunities that park districts could take advantage of today?
Well, I mean, there are always going to be opportunities coming along, and you don't get to choose when they're going to happen. So grant monies, the availability of grant monies ebbs and flows from time to time. It's really important to think ahead about the things that you want to try to accomplish. And when something arises, such as a piece of property you had your eye on, becomes available, or one that you even never imagined you might be able to get becomes available, you got to be ready to move pretty quickly when that happens. So I would say opportunities come along for the organizations that prepare for them. And you don't always get to choose what the opportunities are going to be, but you need to be there to recognize them and hopefully with the flexibility to move when you need to.
What are some of the benefits of a commissioner getting involved with IAPD?
Well, IAPD is just a tremendous resource. So no matter what level you're on as a commissioner, it's the educational opportunities and the learning opportunities that IAPD offers are fantastic. I would say IAPD is a real valuable partner for anybody who's serving on a park board. Even on an informal basis, getting involved with IAPD is a really important opportunity for the individual commissioner. IAPD offers educational opportunities and learning opportunities that are invaluable. I think the annual conference run along with IPRA offers really wonderful ways to learn about hot issues.
What would you consider to be your major contribution to the field of parks and recreation?
Well, I have to feel my service has been to this community. I don't feel like I've made any huge impact statewide on parks and recreation here, but I believe I have been a sympathetic set of ears and an intelligent look at the things that we're trying to accomplish, and have always worked hard to be sure that the citizens of Urbana were getting good value for the money. And my real contribution has been to keep an eye on that and to encourage forward thinking on the part of our staff and board and doing new things.
How would you like to be remembered?
Well, I would hope that people would take a look around at these parks, and if they might remember me as part of these, you're walking through a park and you're really enjoying it, that, hey, there was some work that went into behind the scenes to make that a reality.
What is the best advice you've ever received?
Best advice I've ever received? Well, I'd say perhaps it's that mind reading is a very poor form of communication. And if you're going to be smart and really want to get along, learn to be curious and ask a lot of questions. And having asked those questions, then listen so that you understand what the other party is interested in. And again, assuming why somebody did something or the motivations behind certain actions doesn't get you very far. It can more often create resentments if you don't have to exactly agree with what somebody did. Having listened to somebody else, they're more likely to listen to you if you are trying to get it adjusted.
What do you see as the benefits of park and recreation services? And are there any examples from the Urbana Park District that you'd like to share?
Well, there are numerous studies that show the positive health and wellness benefits of open space and active recreation opportunities. And I think that it's just something that, especially with some of the health challenges we have these days and the temptations of sedentary lifestyle, sitting in front of computers or playing games on your phone, whatever, to make it comfortable for people to get up and get out in nature. And the mental health benefits, the physical health benefits are so strong and so proven in myriad studies that to have a healthy community and a vibrant community, you got to have a really vibrant park system to go along with.
If funds were unlimited, What would you like to see done for the Urbana Park District?
Well, if funds were unlimited, we have a need for some indoor health and wellness space that we might have a little more control over. I'd love to see a centrally located facility that we could perhaps share with some other agencies, but that anybody could get to easily on local transportation, even if they don't have a car. I think that would be a really valuable thing. I'd like to continue with our active environmental policies and making natural areas accessible to the entire community. I think that's very important. And lastly, I would love to see more trails, both inside the parks and maybe if we had unlimited funds, working with partner agencies to bring that to more parts of Urbana.
What is your vision for the future of parks and recreation in Illinois?
Well, again, I think it's pretty hard to know exactly what our society is going to look like, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. But one thing I think we can be guaranteed is that getting outdoors, having open space, having active recreational opportunities, whether they be informal or formal ones, is going to be extremely important, continue to be important to everyone. Every human living needs that sort of thing. And so having a good, vibrant park system is essential to a good and vibrant future for this community and for this state.
I appreciate you sitting down and sharing your insights with us.
Well, it's been my pleasure, Wayne.
This interview was part of the Illinois Association of Park Districts Legends video series. For more interviews, please visit us at our content-rich website at ilparks.org/legends. Also, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram for all the latest videos, resources, events, and more. Thank you so much for watching.